Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm here with a new installment of Spooky Stories and Makeup, a series in which I tell you guys a creepy little story in a voiceover while I put on some makeup. This is basically my take on a Bailey Syrian, so yeah. This week we're doing it a little bit differently. The previous 3 installments that I've done have all been on creepypastas. I've done the Russian sleep experiment, the deepest part of the ocean is not empty, and last week I did the woman holding an orange, and this week we're actually going to be talking about real life events. Yes, no, this isn't true crime. No. This is a terrifying thing that happened back in the 1760s, and that is the Beast of Gévaudan, a creature that was running around the land of Gévaudan, France back in 1764 through 1767 and was terrorizing the locals, eating people. And still to this day, we're not entirely sure what this creature was, because a lot of people would detail the creature being almost like that of a wolf, but the size of a cow and sometimes even a horse. It's a really interesting story and possibly about a cryptid. There are some other theories out there that it could have possibly been a lion. Like, we're just not entirely sure because, for one, this happened so long ago and people didn't really document what exactly it was, but also because this happened so long ago and it's just been passed down by the word of mouth. Again, it's kind of like a game of telephone here. We're not entirely sure what this thing actually was. Even the Kingdom of France wasn't entirely sure what it was that they were going after and if there were multiple creatures. If it was like just a single one or if there were multiple ones of it. They weren't ever entirely sure. All that they knew is that these attacks were happening over the course of these 3 years within the same area within about like 80 kilometers. There were 210 attacks with 113 fatalities. 98 of those fatalities, the people were partially eaten. Yeah. And just like with any animal, it didn't discriminate between man, women, or children. It just went after everybody and everything. And like, it saw somebody, you dead. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting on my makeup. I'll let you guys listen to me tell you guys this little story. Before we dive on into this, if you guys are new here to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. And also while you're down there, definitely give this video a thumbs up because that'll help me out a lot. All my links are in the description box below, which are the links to my Twitter, Instagram, and my music channel. So definitely go check me out on all of those places if you are interested. And yeah, let's get started. I just want to start it by prefacing that I'm probably going to be mispronouncing some stuff because I haven't studied French in a very long time. The Beast of Gévaudan committed its first recorded attack in the early summer of 1764. A young woman who was tending cattle in Nyqvist forest near the town Lagon in the eastern part of Gévaudan saw a beast like a wolf, yet not a wolf, come at her. However, the bulls in the herd charged the beast, keeping it at bay. They then drove it off after it attacked a second time. Shortly afterwards, on the 30th of June, the beast's first official victim was recorded. 14-year-old Jean Boulet was killed near a village of Havoc near Lagon. The burial certificate specifies that she was killed by the ferocious beast, which suggests that she is not the first victim, but only the first declared. The second victim was reported on the 8th of August, aged 14. She lived in the hamlet of Masmajan. From the end of August and in September, other victims were recorded in the Nyqvist forest and its surroundings. Throughout the remainder of 1764, more attacks were reported in the region. Very soon, terror gripped the populace because the beast was repeatedly preying on lone men, women, and children as they tended livestock in the forest around Gévaudan. Reports note that the beast seemed to only target the victim's head or neck regions. Some witnesses claim the beast had supernatural abilities. They believed it can walk on its hind legs and feet like humans. They believed the beast performed astounding leaps. They also believed the beast could repel bullets and come back from the dead after being struck and wounded. By late December 1764, rumors had begun circulating that there might be a pair of animals behind the killings. This was because there had been such a high number of attacks in such a short space of time, and because many of the attacks appeared to have occurred or were reported nearly simultaneously. Some contemporary accounts suggest the creature was seen with another such animal, while other reports that the beast was accompanied by its young. On the 31st of December, the Bishop of Montgaulier-Flan de Choiseul-Beaupré, also Count of Gévaudan, called for prayers and penance. All the priests of the diocese had to announce it to their faithful. In this long text, the bishop described the beast as a scourge sent by God to punish men for their sins. On the 12th of January in 1765, Jacques Portefeuille and 7 children from the village of Villeray in the parish of the Chalet were attacked by the beast. After several attacks, they drove it away by staying grouped together. The encounter eventually came to the attention of King Louis XV, who awarded 300 livres to the Portefeuille and another 350 livres to be shared among his companions. The king also rewarded Portefeuille with an education at the state's expense. He then decreed that the French state would help find and kill the beast. On the 11th of February, in the parish Les Messieurs, was buried a little girl about 12 years old who had been partly devoured on the present day by a man-eating beast that has been ravaging this country for nearly 3 months. By April 1765, the story of the beast had spread throughout Europe. The Courrier d'Avignon and English journalists made fun of the impotence of royal power in the face of a simple animal. First Captain Duhamel and the Clermont Prince Dragoons and his troops were soon sent to Gévaudan. Although extremely zealous in his efforts, non-cooperation on the part of the local herders and farmers stalled Duhamel's efforts. On several occasions, he almost shot the beast, but was hampered by the incompetence of his guards. When Louis XV agreed to send 2 professional wolf hunters, Jean-Charles Marc-Antoine Van d'Anval and his son, Jean-François, Captain Duhamel was forced to stand down and return to his headquarters in Clermont-Ferrand. Cooperating with Duhamel was impossible as the two differed too much in their strategies. Duhamel organized wolf hunting parties, while Duhamel and his son believed that beasts could only be shot using stealthy techniques. Father and son Duhamel and Clermont-Ferrand on 17th February in 1765, bringing 8 bloodhounds that had been trained in wolf hunting. Over the next 4 months, the pair hunted Eurasian wolves, believing that one or more of these animals was the beast. However, when the attacks continued, the Donavals were replaced in June of 1765 by Francois Antoine, the king's sole Abercrombie and lieutenant of the hunt, who arrived in Les Messieurs on the 22nd of June. On the 11th of August, Antoine organized a great hunt. That day saw the feat of Maid of Gévaudan. Marie-Jeanne Vallée, about 20 years old, was the servant of the parish priest in Ploac. In company of other peasant women, she was taking a footbridge across a small stream when the beast appeared. The women took a few steps back, but the beast threw itself at Marie-Jeanne. The latter managed to plant her spear into its chest. The beast dropped into the river and disappeared into the woods. The story quickly reached Antoine, who went to the scene. He found that the spear was indeed covered in blood and that the traces found were similar to those of the beast. On the 20th or 21st of September, Antoine killed a large gray wolf measuring 80 centimeters or 30 inches high, and then 1.7 meters or 5 foot 7 inches long and weighing 60 kilograms or 130 pounds. The wolf, which was named Le Loup de Chazé after the nearby Abbé de Chazé, was said to have been quite large for a wolf. Antoine officially stated, "We declared by the present report signed from our hand, we never saw a big wolf that could be compared to this one. Hence, we believe this could be a fearsome beast that caused so much damage." The animal was further identified as a culprit by several attack survivors, who recognized the scars on its body inflicted by victims defending themselves. Among them were Marie-Jeanne Vallée and her sister. After the report was written, Francois Antoine's son loaded the animal onto his horse and set off for Paris. The beast was exhibited in Jardin du Roi. Meanwhile, Francois Antoine and his gamekeepers stayed in the Auburn woods to chase down the beast's female partner and her 2 grown-up pups, which had been reported nearby the Abbey Chazé. On the 19th of October, Antoine succeeded in killing the female wolf and a pup, which seemed already larger than its mother. At an examination of the pup, it appeared to have a double set of dew claws, a hereditary malfunction found in the Bas Rouge or Mousseron dog breed. The other pup was shot and hit and was believed to have died while retreating between the rocks. Antoine returned to Paris on the 3rd of November and received a large sum of money, over 9,000 livres, as well as fame, titles, and awards. The month of November passed without any attack being reported. The populace dared to believe that Antoine had indeed killed the beast. In a letter from the 26th of November, the syndic Etienne Lafon affirmed the intendant of Languedoc, "We no longer hear of anything relating to the beast." But quickly, rumors spread of new attacks towards Saget and Losseray. On the 2nd of December, 2 boys aged 6 and 12 were further attacked, suggesting that the beast was still alive. The beast tried to capture the youngest, but it was successfully fought off by the older boy. Soon after, successful attacks followed, and some of the shepherds witnessed the beast showed no fear around cattle at all. A dozen more deaths were reported to have followed attacks near La Bessière-Saint-Marie. Until the beginning of 1766, these facts remained episodic and no one knew if they were attributable to the beast or to wolves. However, in a letter wrote to the intendant of Auburn on the 1st of January 1766, Monsieur de Monteluc seemed convinced that the beast had indeed reappeared. Louis XV no longer wanted to hear about a ferocious beast that his acrobat bearer had overcome. From then on, newspapers no longer reported any of the attacks that occurred in Gévaudan or in the south of Auburn. In March of 1766, the attacks multiplied. The local gentlemen knew that their salvation would not come from the court. Etienne Lafont and the young Marquis d'Apcher, a local nobleman, recommended poisoning the corpses of dogs and carrying them to usual passages of the beast. But the latter did not seem to cover as much ground as before. It settled in the Trois-Monts region, Montmouchet, Montgrand, and Montchevet, about 15 kilometers, 9.3 miles apart. About 15 kilometers or 9.3 miles apart. The measures taken proved ineffective. Small hunts were organized in vain. The beast continued its attacks throughout 1766. But its mode of operation had changed. It seemed less enterprising and much more cautious, as revealed by various correspondents, including that of Canon Ollier, parish priest of Losseray, to Etienne Lafont. At the beginning of 1767, the attacks experienced a slight lull, but they resumed in the spring. The populace no longer knew what to do, except to pray. Pilgrimages are increasing, mainly to Notre-Dame de Bellu and Notre-Dame d'Estu. 18th of June, it was reported to the Marquis d'Apcher that the beast had been seen that day before in the parishes of Nozerolle and Decay. In the latter, in the village of Les Binières, it allegedly killed a 19-year-old Jean Bastide. Killing of the creature that eventually marked the end of the attacks is credited to a local hunter named Jean Chastel, who shot it at the slopes of Montmouchet, now called Sonia Deveur, during a hunt organized by the Marquis d'Apcher on the 19th of June, 1767. The results of the examination were consistent with a large wolf or wolf dog, but the remains were incomplete by the time Boulanger acquired them, precluding conclusive identification of the animal. So now let's talk about the morphology and behavior of the creature. Various questions about the nature of the beast of Gévaudan have aroused interest and contributed to the enthusiasm for its history. Depictions of the time vary, and reports may have been greatly exaggerated owing to the public hysteria. In terms of morphology, although none of the animals killed have been preserved, the beast was generally described as a wolf-like canine with a tall, lean frame capable of taking great strides. It was said to be the size of a calf or cow, or in some cases, a horse. It had an elongated head similar to that of a greyhound, with a flattened snout, pointed ears, and wide mouth sitting atop of a broad chest. The beast's tail was also reported to have been notably longer than a wolf's, with a prominent tuft at the end. The beast's fur was described as tawny or russet in color, but its back was streaked with black, and a white heart-shaped pattern was noted on its underbelly. Several tales spoke of the beast's invulnerability. Indeed, hit by the bullets of reputably skilled shooters, the beast would have risen each time. Testimonies attributed to the beast's gift of omnipresence. In a very short interval of time, it would have been seen in places several kilometers away. However, in many cases, these distances could be covered by a single animal. Two of the beast's most singular traits were its familiarity and his boldness. At least until Francois Antoine's departure, it did not seem to fear man. When it encountered resistance, it would move 40 paces away, sometimes sitting on its hindquarters for a few moments and, if not pursued, would come back to the charge. Then it would move away at a walk or at a short trot. Several victims were attacked in the middle of villages, and most testimonies related to attacks during the day. Finally, by showing relentlessness that did not always seem dictated by hunger, the beast showed an astonishing aggressiveness. In addition, its unusual agility allowed it to jump over walls that dogs could not cross. Now, according to modern scholars, public hysteria at the time of the attacks contributed to the widespread myths that supernatural beasts roamed Gévaudan, but deaths attributed to the beast were more likely the work of a number of wolves or packs of wolves. Attacks by wolves were a very serious problem during the era, not only in France but throughout Europe, with thousands of deaths attributed to wolves in the 18th century alone. In the spring of 1765, in the midst of Gévaudan hysteria, an unrelated series of attacks occurred near the commune of Soissons, northeast of Paris, where an individual wolf killed at least 4 people over a period of 2 days before being attacked and killed by a man armed with a pitchfork. Such incidents were fairly typical in rural parts of Western Europe and Central Europe. The Marc report describes the creature as a wolf of unusually large proportions. This animal, which seemed to us to be wolf, but extraordinary and very different by its figure and its proportions from the wolves that one sees in this country. This is what we have certified by more than 300 people from all around who came to see it. Despite the widely held interpretation based on most of the historical research that the beast was a wolf or another wild canine, several alternative theories have been proposed. Some think a lion, namely a subadult male, escaped from a menagerie due to the size and some depictions being more similar to a lion than a wolf. Others consider an escaped striped hyena due to some sketches of the beast describing it as such. Another theory is that a large feral dog or wolf dog was responsible, since some of the sightings were of an animal that looked similar to a wolf but was not one. This is the final look though. I really like how this turned out. I haven't done like a really bold look in a very hot minute, so I'm very happy about that. Also, I brought this liquid lipstick back into my collection. I had it in my declutter box, but I decided to bring it back. It's Crush from ABH. And I forgot how nice of a nude this was. But what did you guys think about this story? It's very interesting, especially considering that this is something that actually happened. And although there was so much that happened, there's still so much we don't understand and don't really know about this. Like, there have been a lot of studies and investigations on this, even in present day, and no one can really firmly say what exactly this creature was. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, some people speculate that it might have been a lion, but even then, there's really no guarantee whether or not that's actually the case. We're all just in like this weird little spot of limbo of like not really knowing what exactly this creature was, where it came from, and where it went. Because like in the story, it says that it was speculated that there were multiple creatures, and it wasn't just one beast, but that there were several of them. And so where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But that's what makes this story so fascinating, though, is the fact that, like, for one, this actually happened. Because, I mean, this is a crazy story and everything, especially considering that it's just like so many people died over the course of 3 years from this same creature, same string of events and everything. Like I mentioned, there were 113 people who died from this creatures, and we don't know really what it actually was. We just know how people described it, and what they described isn't something that any of us are familiar with. That is it for this week's installment of Spooky Stories and Makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want me to do more of these like true horror type of stories and whatnot, please let me know, because these like real life incidents are really interesting. I know if you guys want me to do more of these, I really want to cover the Beast of Bray Road. I really want to cover that one, because that one has been like speculated for years. I learned about that back when I was a kid and have found it fascinating, interesting ever since. And so like if you want me to cover like cryptids and things like that and whatnot, please let me know. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until I see you guys in my next one, whenever that might be, goodbye.